Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we are tackling a subject that I think usually comes with a lot of baggage digital security.
hmm
But before you tune out thinking this is going to be all about, firewalls or encryption keys, I just want you to pause.
Hmm.
Because the research we're unpacking today argues the biggest threat to your bank account isn't some hoodie-wearing hacker in a dark room.
It definitely is not.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're picturing a scene from some spy movie, you're looking in completely
That-
the wrong direction.
Yeah, we're looking at a presentation called Fake Support, Fake Invoices, Fake Authority. And the core thesis here is it's actually kind of unsettling. It says the most dangerous vulnerability isn't bad code, it's trust applied under pressure.
And that phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Trust applied under pressure. It basically means scammers have figured out that, well, hacking a computer is hard.
Right.
But hacking a human being,
Yeah.
that is surprisingly easy.
It's psychology, it's not technology.
Oh, it is entirely psychological. It's about how we are wired to be helpful, to be efficient, and, to respect authority, and how those very good traits are being weaponized.
That's what surprised me most when I went through this. I was expecting, I don't know, technical diagrams. Instead, I found a breakdown of human nature. It's about how we get tricked by things that just look boring.
Boring is the key word. Looking official online is incredibly easy, but verifying that something is real, that requires a deliberate and often uncomfortable fight against our own instincts.
So before we get into the nuts and bolts, I want to ask you, the listener, a question. And I want you to be really honest with yourself. When you see a company logo in an email, maybe it's your bank, do you instinctively trust it? Just because the blue looks like the right shade of blue? Does that professional look lower your guard? I know for a fact it does for me. Drop a comment below. I'm curious how many of us judge credibility by, well, graphic design.
Most of us do. It's a shortcut our brains take.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we need to dismantle today.
Okay, so let's start with the first big myth, the source material tackles. We have this idea of the hacker, the genius coder.
Right.
But the source implies that's largely a fiction.
It's a useful fiction for Hollywood? Sure. But for real defense, it's a distraction. The source makes a very strong assertion. Most financial losses, whether it's an individual or a huge corporation, they don't start because someone broke through a firewall with, some sophisticated malware.
They start because someone opened the door for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They start because someone trusted the wrong person in a high-pressure moment. The trap isn't a virus. The trap is built on your normal expectations. Scammers use official tones, familiar branding, requests that sound totally reasonable.
So they're not trying to break the computer. They're trying to break the person using it. But how do they make it look so real? The source has this section, legitimacy is cheap online.
Well, think about it. If I want to impersonate a major bank, I don't need to hack their servers.
Yeah.
I just need to right-click on their logo and save it.
Copy paste. 2 seconds.
Legitimacy is purely cosmetic online. And the source breaks this down into 3 categories of signals we rely on. First, visual elements. We trust high-res logos, clean formatting.
Which anyone can just steal.
Second, technical signals. This is where people get tripped up. You might think, well, the email came from support@bank.com.
Right. I checked the sender address. I thought that was the golden rule.
It used to be, but email addresses can be spoofed. Or, more commonly, they register a domain that looks almost identical. If I replace the letter L with the number 1 in a URL on a mobile screen,
You can't see it.
you literally cannot see the difference. And cloning a login page, a convincing clone of, say, a Microsoft 365 login page, can be built in less than an hour.
That's terrifying. So the text signals are unreliable. What's the third category?
Human signals, and this is the most dangerous one. A confident voice on the phone, language patterns that sound professional. We just assume that if someone sounds like a corporate manager, they are one.
I'm realizing as you say this that I rely on those cosmetic elements for like 90% of my decision making. If the logo is crisp and the guy sounds nice, I'm halfway there.
And that's the core point.
Yeah.
Appearance does not equal authenticity. That is the mantra here.
Okay, so we can't trust our eyes. Let's talk specific tactics. How do they actually get in? The source calls the first one fake support, the front door.
This is a classic, and it works because it completely flips the script.
Yeah.
Usually when you have a problem, you call support.
Right.
Here, support calls you.
That's a great way to think about it. Real support responds, fake support reaches out.
Real providers generally wait for you to initiate. But scammers know that if they start the conversation with bad news, you panic.
The source outlines a pattern of deception here. It says there are four components. Let's walk through them because I feel like I've seen this movie before.
Oh, you definitely have. Component one is urgency without specifics. They tell you there's a problem, time's running out, but they're vague on the actual details.
Yeah. Unusual activity detected, but they won't say what activity.
Component two, reassurance mixed with threat. This is the psychological hook. They
Yeah.
say, we can fix this for you. That's the reassurance. But if you don't act now, your account will be locked forever. That's the threat.
It's the good cop, bad cop routine, but it's just one person playing both roles. I'm here to save you from our own scary policy.
Exactly. And it confuses the brain. But the kicker is the third component, immediate action required.
Now. You have to do it now.
Not after lunch, now. And finally, component four, a convenient shortcut.
Just click this link to resolve it.
A simple way to make the pain go away fast. And the source really emphasizes that speed is the weapon here. This is biology.
Yeah.
When you hear your account is drained, your brain triggers an amygdala hijack.
It's a fight or flight response.
Your analytical brain, your prefrontal cortex, it actually shuts down to save energy. You physically cannot think critically in that moment. That's what they're banking on.
It really is weaponized speed. Now, the source also gives us a list of what real support does not do. I feel like we should laminate this and put it on our monitors.
A great list. Number one, real support never asks for passwords. Ever. There's zero technical reason for them to need it.
Okay.
Number two, they never ask for MFA codes. You know, those 6-digit codes texted to your phone.
Right. Read me the code I just sent you.
A real support agent has no use for that. That code is for you to prove who you are to the system, not to a person. If someone asks for the code, they're trying to log in as you.
So if they ask for the code, you hang up.
Immediately. Number three, real support doesn't rush your decisions. If you say, I need to check on this and call you back, a real agent says, okay, sure.
And number four, they don't penalize you for hesitating.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
Scammers act insulted if you want to verify. Real pros just don't care. If you feel penalized for trying to be safe, you are almost certainly being scammed.
I've got to ask the listeners again here. Have you ever felt that pinch of panic? A pop-up appears, says your computer is infected. Did you feel that physical urge to just click anything to make it go away? That is the reaction they're counting on. Tell us in the comments if you've ever had to fight that impulse.
It is a very, very hard impulse to fight.
Okay, let's pivot to something less intense, but maybe even more dangerous because of it. We've talked about panic. Now let's talk about boredom. The source calls this the danger of boring invoices.
This is where the big money is lost in corporate settings. While the fake support scam relies on high emotion, the invoice scam relies on, well, low emotion. It relies on routine.
The source says fake invoices work because they feel boring.
Yes, they're just PDF documents. They look routine. The amounts are usually specific, not $1 million, but maybe, $4,500 for consulting services. It falls within an expected range.
Doesn't trigger any alarms, it's just paperwork.
And the branding matches vendors you probably already use. So you're tired, it's 4:55 p.m. on a Friday, you see an invoice that looks like 50 others.
And you just click approve to clear your queue.
Habit replaces scrutiny. The source identifies a few vulnerability points here. End-of-month pressure is a huge one, but also delegated authority.
Is that the idea of, oh, someone else probably checked this?
Exactly that. The bystander effect applied to accounting. I'm just approving the payment. Surely the person who ordered it checked it. And that person thinks, well, accounting will catch it if it's wrong.
Wow. The source has this great line, money disappears in the space between routine and verification.
It's so profound. It's the gaps in our attention where the theft happens.
So I'm curious, if you handle invoices in your job or even just household bills, be honest. Do you read every single line item? Or do you just scan the total and hit pay? I am definitely guilty of the scan. Let us know in the comments if you're a scanner or a reader.
Most people are scanners, and that's why this works.
Okay, we've covered fake tech support and boring invoices. Let's talk about the third head of this monster, authority impersonation.
This is when the email comes from the CEO or your boss.
But the source says these are often subtle scams. It's not always the CEO demanding $1 million in all caps.
No, the quick one is much more effective. Hi, quick one. Can you handle this for me? Or, I'm traveling right now. Can you help?
Why does I'm traveling work so well? I feel like I see that in every example.
It does two things. First, it explains why they can't talk on the phone, which cuts off your ability to verify verbally. And second, it creates a reason for the unusual request. and the casual tone makes you feel like an insider.
And it creates that internal conflict. You're trapped. You don't want to be the annoying employee who questions the boss.
Right, you don't want to appear rude, you don't want to slow down business,
Right.
and you definitely don't want to look incompetent by asking, wait, you really want me to buy gift cards?
It feels silly to even ask, so you just do it.
Social pressure just defeats logical analysis. And again, the source reminds us why appearance means nothing here.
The source lists the tricks. Domain names, one letter off.
Example.com versus example1e.com. In a quick read, on a phone, they look identical.
Caller ID is another one. I always thought if my phone says CEO Mobile, it's really him.
Caller ID is so easily spoofed. The network doesn't verify the number. It just displays what the sender tells it to display. And they scrape LinkedIn. They know your boss's name, your title. They can craft a message that sounds exactly like it came from your office.
That is just exhausting. We've established our eyes can be tricked, our boredom exploited, our desire to be a good employee weaponized. I feel like we've dismantled every defense I thought I had.
We kind of have. But that's the first step to building real ones.
You know, speaking of building defenses, and before we get to the solution, we are building a safety net of knowledge all month long here on the Deep Dive.
We absolutely are. This is just one piece of the puzzle.
If you're sitting there feeling a little overwhelmed, you need to make sure you're catching every episode. We're dropping new deep dives every Wednesday this month. So do yourself a favor. Go ahead and hit save on our February series playlist right now. You do not want to miss what's coming next.
Absolutely not. Knowledge is really the only defense against this stuff.
Okay, playlist saved. Good. Let's get back to the solution. Because we can't just live in fear. The source gives us a mantra. Verification is a behavior, not a feeling.
This is the core philosophical shift. We tend to verify things based on how we feel. Does this feel sketchy?
And if it feels fine because the logo is blue and the voice is nice, we just proceed.
But the source says, feelings lie under stress. Intuition fails when time is compressed. If you're rushing, your gut is just wrong.
So we need a system, something almost robotic.
Exactly. Verification must be a boring, predictable behavior that happens every time, regardless of how you feel.
And the tactical tool for this is what the source calls the third channel rule. I love this because it's so simple, but I also feel like it's a little socially awkward.
It can be. But it is the single most effective way to stop these attacks.
Yeah.
The rule is, never verify within the same communication channel where the request started.
Break that down for me. Let's say I get an email from my boss asking for a payment.
Okay, you get an email. Do not hit reply to ask if it's real.
Because if the email is fake, the reply just goes straight to the scammer.
You're asking the liar if they are lying. Instead, you go to a second channel. You text your boss, or you call them on their known number. You step out of the email loop.
What about a phone call? Hi, this is the bank.
Hang up. That is the channel they control. You hang up, find the number on the back of your debit card, a trusted source, and you call them back. That's the third channel.
Okay, play devil's advocate. I'm on the phone with the bank. They say my account's being drained. I hang up. Doesn't that feel wrong?
It feels wrong because we are conditioned to be polite. But you have to override that. If it really is the bank, they will be happy you're being secure. If it's a scammer, you just saved everything.
And for those invoices.
Confirm it through an established contact. Don't use the phone number printed on the suspicious invoice. Call the person you know at that vendor.
So breaking the loop prevents what it calls circular validation.
Correct. You have to step outside the circle the scammer has drawn around you.
This all seems like it requires a lot of discipline, but the source also talks about building friction. I mean, usually we want things to be frictionless.
In the tech world, frictionless is the holy grail. One click, everything. But that is exactly what makes us vulnerable. The source argues we need invoicing friction on purpose. Friction isn't inefficiency, it's protection.
So what kind of friction points are we talking about?
Deliberate slowdowns. For example, a no surprise payments rule. If an unexpected invoice comes in, it triggers a mandatory pause. Or new vendor confirmation.
If a new name appears, you don't pay until it's actually verified.
And any changes to payment details like, hey, use this new bank account number. That must trigger a mandatory pause and a phone call. That's one of the most common ways companies get robbed.
It says here, urgency exception. Pressure increases verification, not speed.
That brilliant rule.
Okay.
If someone says, this is urgent, your policy should be, okay, because it is urgent, I now have to triple check it.
Flip the script on them. The more they push, the slower you go.
Exactly. But you can't decide this in the heat of the moment. You need red lines that you've decided on in advance.
Decisions made in advance work better than decisions made under stress. So what are these red lines?
You need to define your never actions. Things you simply will not do no matter who asks.
Like emailing a password.
Never. Or buying gift cards for the CEO.
Does that actually happen? The gift card thing.
It happens all the time. And it works because people are afraid to say no. But if you have a rule, we never buy gift cards, you don't have to think. You just say, sorry, company policy says I can't do that.
It gives you a shield. It's not you being rude, it's the policy.
It's the power of the pause. The source puts it beautifully. Speed is the attacker's advantage. Deliberation is yours. Scams fail when time expands.
I love that. Expanding time is our superpower. If you just take 5 minutes, the scam usually falls apart.
It almost always does.
All right, we've unpacked the problem, we've unpacked the solution. Now the source gives us some homework. Tonight's check. 4 actionable steps.
Step 1. Review your payment approval process. How are things authorized in your business or your home? Is it just a rubber stamp?
Step 2. List money request authority. Who can actually ask for money?
Right. If the junior intern emails asking for a wire transfer, you should know instantly they don't have that authority. Knowing who does helps filter the noise.
Step 3. Confirm support contacts. This is the one I need to do tonight.
This is a great one for everyone. Write down the real numbers for your bank, your internet provider, your software. Put them on a physical list or in a save note.
So when the fake text comes in, you don't just Google the number.
Never. Scammers buy ads on Google. The top result might be a scammer. Use your trusted list.
And step 4. Define your red lines. What are your non-negotiables? Write them down.
Making the decision now saves you from making it when you're panicked.
So listener, I want to ask you, which of these 4 steps is the biggest gap in your life right now? Is it that you don't have a list of real numbers? Or that you haven't decided your red lines? Let us know.
I think for me, it's the support contacts. I rely on Google way too much.
That's a really common one, and it's an easy fix.
So as we wrap up, what is the one big thought we should leave here with?
The source ends with this quote: "Trust online isn't broken. It's mismanaged. And management is a choice."
It's not that we can't trust anyone. It's that we're trusting the wrong signals.
Yeah.
We're trusting the paint job, not the engine.
We are letting strangers manage our trust instead of managing it ourselves with clear processes.
That is a powerful place to land. And I want to leave you with one final provocation, something to chew on. We talked about how scammers use urgency to make you feel bad about verifying.
Ask yourself this: if a request is legitimate, if it's really your boss, or really your bank, why would they ever punish you for taking 5 minutes to keep them safe?
They wouldn't. They would thank you.
And if they do punish you, is that a person or a company you should be trusting anyway?
That is the ultimate question, isn't it?
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Remember, slow down, verify in a different channel, and don't let a nice logo fool you.
Stay safe out there.
See you next time.